Welcome back into the Sean podcast. I myself am, the Big Ush. Beside me here, we got the Cat Daddy.
There we go. Put some respect on it. I like that.
What's on your mind?
Week 1 of the NFL is in the books, and we now know which teams are going to the Super Bowl and which teams are going to be drafting first.
Oh, that overreaction.
Overreaction season, week 1, people.
No,
there's reason to be excited, maybe some reason to be concerned, but it's week 1, right? Let's keep that in mind. Yeah.
I wonder which one of us that is. People, we're going to preference this. Both of us are not happy today, but we're not happy for two totally different reasons. So, all right, what we're going to do now is we're going to get into some things. First, we're getting some news. We got some injury news. Unfortunately, some guys went down, some for the season. First one, I'll start off from the Dallas Cowboys Buccaneers game. Mr. Sean Murphy Bunting on IR. Unfortunate. I mean, he's an aspiring young player, and hopefully he gets healed up and can get back in fairly soon. But there was also an older player who was supposed to be having the greatest opportunity of his life this year, who is right now on IR. Who would that be, Sean?
Oh, are you talking about Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Oh yeah, that Fitzmagic guy. I guess some of that magic kind of wore off, huh? They need some fairy dust.
It wore off early in the second quarter? Yeah. He takes a hit from a defensive lineman from the Chargers, and he suffered what's called a hip supplex.
You telling me the old man broke a hip?
Pretty much. Pretty much took the IR. He's expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks. This is going to result in Tyler Heinicke becoming the new starter for Washington. And I believe Ron Rivera has already said that they have really no desire to go out and look for a veteran to come in. So it sounds like this is Taylor Heinicke's job as long as he plays well. So if you remember, he almost led Washington to a victory against Tampa Bay in last year's playoffs. So I think there's some support with the team in the locker room about having him become the starter.
See, I don't get this. I don't even get why they went out and got Ryan Fitzpatrick. We must not know something behind closed doors, because when I've seen this guy in the games, he's looked pretty good.
He has. Yeah, he's looked pretty impressive. For some reason, they don't want to give him the full-time shot, but guess what? He's got it for the next 6 to 8 weeks. This is his time to really put it on display.
We do have some more injury news, unfortunately. I forgot the guy's name. The right guard. Is it the right guard from Baltimore? Went down. So that's unfortunate. I mean, hopefully he can also come back. Was there any other injury news, Sean?
Man,
Jerry Jeudy.
There were several.
Jerry Jeudy.
Right? Jerry
Don't get me started on those dang Giants. I'm not going to say anything. I said some stuff privately, but I'm just saying this is the second year in a row, 2 years in a row, that there's a significant injury that the Giants somehow caused. Is that bad luck, or we're going to move on?
Well, yeah, I mean, to give more detail, Jerry Jeudy is expected to miss the next 4 to 6 weeks with a high ankle sprain that he suffered on a really nasty-looking play where he had his right leg pinned underneath the defender, James Bradbury. And from when I saw that play, I thought there was a fracture immediately when I saw it happen, even on the replays.
Bad.
But it seems like he was very fortunate, and he's going to escape without having any fractures. It's just a high ankle sprain.
Before he got injured, though, he was looking good, too.
He was, but this changes Denver's offense now, because you're thinking Cortland Sutton now becomes the wide receiver 1, undisputed wide receiver 1. And now you have Tim Patrick and Kate Miller filling in for the expanded role until June. I mean, who's going to challenge him for the number 1 receiver in Denver right now?
Try to say for KC, you bring up the tight end.
Noah Fant. What?
Noah Fant was getting his looks. He was getting his looks with Jeudy there. They might have to rely more on him.
They might.
Just saying.
They might.
Anyone else we want to talk about?
Other significant injuries. New York Jet left tackle Mekhi Becton suffered a dislocated kneecap in the second half against Carolina. Ended up being carted off the field. He's expected to miss the next 4 to 6 weeks. Very lucky to have avoided any damage to the ACL that would have required surgery. So he's very fortunate there. He should be back soon. But this guy, Mekhi Becton, cannot catch a break. We're thinking last year, Becton plays 14 games as a rookie. He dealt with a couple small injuries during that time frame. During this preseason, he had the concussion. He was just cleared from the concussion a little bit over a week ago before the season started. Gets back on the field. And even before that, during OTAs, I think he was dealing with a plantar fasciitis.
I also think he had a history going back to college, too.
Yep. Is he going to be one of those players who ends up with that injury-prone label like somebody else I'm going to talk about?
Ooh, who are you here to talk about?
San Francisco cornerback Jason Verrett. Found himself.
Jason Verrett.
Yeah, there's Raheem Mostert. Yeah, but Jason Verrett, we're thinking lands in the IR after tearing his ACL. And this just adds to the list of injuries that Verrett has sustained through his career. His rookie season, 2014, he was limited to 8 games due to a torn labrum. During the 16 and 17 seasons, he only played 5 games combined between those 2 seasons because he dealt with back-to-back ankle injuries. 2018, he had a torn Achilles, so he's out for the entire season. 19, he was limited to 1 game due to an ankle injury. He played pretty well last year when he was healthy. I think he got almost a full 16 games in. I have to go back and double check, but now he ends up tearing the ACL in very, very early in the season. So we already teased the Raheem Mostert injury. So he ends on the
guy who's injured all the time. Also,
I know. Was it San Francisco? Maybe I'll have to go back and take a look at these guys from college to see what their injury history looked like there. But he's landing on the IR with, I think it's being considered chipped cartilage in his knee. It's going to require arthroscopic surgery. He's going to be out for about 8 weeks. I mean, this likely means Elijah Mitchell's going to draw another start, or he's going to draw a start this week against Philadelphia.
Trey Sermon won't be inactive.
Yeah, I fully expect Trey Sermon to be active for this game against Philadelphia. I'm not sure what Kyle Shanahan was thinking making him inactive, but he's a coach. He sees something differently, so we'll give him that.
No, he didn't see that injury history coming up for whatever reason.
Oh, maybe he should have. Who knows?
Any other injuries you want to talk about before we get into the games?
Oh, I think those are the
most significant.
Yeah, more significant injuries out there, unless one is escaping me right now. But that's all I see.
So we're gonna get into this right away. Jump right in. I'm gonna take my little time. So, Cowboys-Bucks game, opening Thursday night, September 9th. It's a dang good game. Like, fantastic game. Both teams realized they couldn't run, so we got fireworks all over the field. It was wonderful. Lots of weapons, even though Mike Evans shut down. Oh, could Trayvon Diggs be pretty good? And Brady was like, nope, not going that way. Gonna go this way. Also, everybody who's poo-poo on Anthony Brown, turns out Anthony Brown was playing proper technique. What happened was a player slipped. Casey had to come up, and he was late getting back. Unfortunately, broken play. Antonio Brown does Antonio Brown things. Anyways, I'm going to get fast forward. I think this game was tainted. Yes, we could talk about the missed kicks. Yes, we can talk about Zeke getting tackled in the red zone. Yes, we can talk about the holding penalty on right before we kick the field goal. We can talk about all that. But how about we talk about at the very end of the game when we got Braided? That's what people call it. It's actually a term, getting Braided. And we got Braided. First, Tom Brady's in the pocket getting pressured, and he throws the ball downfield to absolutely nobody. And guess what? I think this is called something, Sean. What's this called?
I'm not sure. What's the term for that?
I think it's called intentional grounding. And what would happen at that point in the game is you get the penalty plus loss of down and a 10-second runoff. That did not happen. That would ultimately ended the game. Let's be honest. I mean, maybe Brady could do Brady things in like 9 seconds, but who knows? So then the very next play, okay, whatever. We're eating crow. The very next play. I don't care who you are and what type of ratings you're trying to get. That was offensive pass interference. When you have a DB on you and your arms extend and he falls to the ground, that's offensive pass interference. There's no way you can argue that otherwise to me. And, of course, it doesn't get called. But it's okay. It's week 1. We'll move on. And, on the Los Angeles playing that awesome stadium. Any thoughts on this, Sean?
On the Tampa Dallas game?
Yeah.
I thought it looked like offensive pass interference at the ends. I thought it did. But that's not what bothers me the most about this game, right? We're thinking that really is the key moment because it was the end of the game. So you're thinking Dallas is running out of chances. But for me, what bothered me the most was not clock management. The kicker, Greg Zuerlein.
Well, yeah.
Missed 2 field goals. Granted, one was, a 60-yarder at the end of the first half. So exclude that one. He misses a 37-yard field goal. He misses an extra point. Those are 4 points right there. What would those 4 points have done to this game? Dallas ended up losing by 2. This would have put Dallas in the...
But like I like to say, in those terms, here's the problem with going with things, the shoulda, woulda in the middle of the game. You don't know how Brady's going to react to that situation. At that very end of the game, we know that literally affects the outcome. That's why the very end of the game is always that big push. But let's not continue. I will, in Zuerlein's defense, he is coming off an injury. So I will say that.
Did he make the plane ride home?
Yes, he did. This is not Jimmy Johnson's team. All right, on to one of the surprising games for us. And I am just wondering, what does this mean? I want to know, are the Philadelphia Eagles actually good? Or the Atlanta Falcons just that bad?
Now let's bear in mind, this is Overreaction week 1. Small sample size here. But you're right, man. Philadelphia looked impressive out there. They really did. But at the same time, Atlanta looked like hot garbage.
Did you hear about the PFF grade? Did you hear about the PFF grade on Jalen Mayfield?
No, what was it?
He got a 1.4. You know what they grade out of?
It's 100 scale, isn't it?
It's 100. It's 100.
How do you get 1.4? It's like the SAT. You get a certain number of points just for spelling your name right.
He got a 1.4. They only had one player who is in the 70s, and that was Cordero Patterson. On offense, I should say. Defense, they did a little bit better. Not much.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a forgettable start to Arthur Smith's head coaching career.
Not to mention, all right, so again, all right, Sean's going to get his shots, but this one I want to say because we already know I had some arguments during the draft, and yes, our pod does gear more towards the draft. Now note, it's week 1. And it's going to be a long period, and this guy's going to have a fantastic career. Kyle Pitts, 7 targets. I believe it was 1 reception for like 8 yards, or maybe it was 2 for like 8 yards.
He was 4 for 31, okay?
4 for 31.
Right.
But at the same time,
nearly 4 times as good as that 1 for 8.
At the same time, not effective enough to actually help the team. And all I'm saying is, when we get to another game with another player who thoroughly helped their team, if you want an offensive weapon at that given point in the draft, but I personally don't think they should have taken an offensive weapon. I think they should have restructured Matt Ryan's contract. I think they should have picked one of 2 players. The 2 players were Justin Fields, good for the future because Matt Ryan did look like a shell of himself in that game. Or if you really wanted to help Matt Ryan out, instead of getting a pass-catching tight end who we all know tight ends take a little bit to develop, maybe take that Penei Sewell guy who we'll also talk about, who from what I hear had a pretty good game regardless of what his team did. That's all I'm saying there. Again, it is no reflection on Kyle Pitts himself or what type of career Kyle Pitts is going to have. It's about position value and what your team needs. The Falcons did not prioritize true team needs here. They went for a luxury pick and then traded Julio Jones.
Well, they traded Jones first.
Well, yeah, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, small sample size, right? I mean, the whole Atlanta offense performed horribly, so even in an alternative universe.
Your boy was good.
Yeah.
There was one player that was fantastic, and that was Calvin Ridley.
I mean, he only ended up with a 5 for 51 stat line, so it wasn't like he had blown up that day.
He looked better. Matt Ryan looked bad. All right, but...
Oh yeah, absolutely. Matt Ryan looked bad. I mean, how did Arthur Smith succeed in Tennessee? Arthur Smith succeeded because they utilized play action.
They don't have Derrick Henry.
They don't have. Who's their starting running back? You have Mike Davis, right? Who's really afraid of Mike Davis?
Cordero Patterson looked better than Mike Davis.
Yeah.
I rewatched the game I saw. All right, onwards. I'll let you take this one. I don't really have much thoughts or cares on this one, to be honest. Buffalo fell to the Pittsburgh Steelers, 23-16. What happened here?
Man, it's like that Pittsburgh defense came back to life, right?
That offensive line wasn't looking too bad.
TJ Watt got paid, showed up. Bill's offensive line didn't do Josh Allen many favors.
Hayward was a beast, man.
Yeah, he was. He was almost like a one-man wrecking crew up there.
Now I ask though, is this just like regression to the mean for Josh Allen? He had that amazing season last year, and is he just coming back down to earth? Again, week 1, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, week 1.
Because he didn't look near the guy he was last year.
No, but I don't think he's fared well against Pittsburgh in his career. I think for some reason they've had his number. He just hasn't been able to perform well against them. So, do I expect a regression?
Maybe.
Slight. I mean, very slight, but I think Josh Allen's going to put up damn near MVP numbers again this season to be in that MVP talk later in the season.
All right, now to a guy who, came back, and I think you thoroughly enjoyed this one, and showed he's the guy who we think he is, and his weapons are disgusting. Thank goodness. One of his weapons, who looked like he was getting carted off, it was just dehydration. The Bengals defeat the Minnesota Vikings 27-24 in OT. Well, how about this one, Sean? How you feel about that Joe Burrow?
Joe Burrow. Well, let's start with Jamar Chase, right? Jamar Chase.
My guy?
What was the big criticism during the offseason? Or not during the offseason, but preseason? Can't
He
catch.
can't catch.
0 for 5 on targets, 4 drops. And then he had that quote about why or how he couldn't catch the football at the pro level that was just taken out of context by nearly everybody.
What happened?
What did he do? He put up a 5 for 101 day. He added in a 50-yard touchdown in there. That was like the LSU Joe Burrow Jamar Chase connection. That's what it looked like.
Did you see the route running? You see what he did to Patrick P? Did you see what he did to Patrick P? Hall of Famer. Oh my God. Had him on a turntable. Patrick P. Peterson didn't know if he didn't know if he was coming or going. Minnesota needs to tighten some stuff up, though. They did not. They looked rusty. They looked week 1.
Yeah, they looked week 1. The defense did not step up as much as I thought it was going to.
I didn't think it was going to be that good, but that's me.
Yeah, I mean, Kirk Cousins did a decent job, right?
Yeah, but he still wasn't like on the same page as a lot of his targets, except for that one guy who seemingly keeps getting touchdowns.
Adam Thielen, baby. Adam Thielen.
But onward, we're talking about another one that made you happy. 49ers defeat the Lions at 41-33. And I have no clue how this game got the 41-33 because it was like 41 to what? 17 at one point or something. And all of a sudden the Lions are like, oh crap, we're playing football. And they decide to try to step up. Too little, too late.
I just don't think San Francisco's defense was trying as hard late in the game, which allowed Detroit to score a couple of times. Yeah.
Obviously not. But we don't have to hang on that one too long. There's no true storylines. Trey Lance got one package.
Yeah, there we go. There's the storyline.
He got one package. It doesn't.
How did it end up?
Oh, he scored a touchdown. Every rookie quarterback drafted in the first round
scored a touchdown this weekend. Yeah.
But onward to a big time game. Well, big time thing because of someone's slander on this pod. The Arizona Cardinals defeat the Tennessee Titans 38-13. Kyler Murray went off. I think he was thinking about you.
Thinking about me? What? Where's the slander?
All that fantasy slander.
Where's the slander? Kyler Murray.
Guide to avoid?
At his draft value, right? If you remember, right now, I had Kyler Murray in my top 5.
With that stat line, would you avoid that guy?
Let's see. The stat line was 21-32, 289, 4 touchdowns and 1 interception through the air, another touchdown on the grounds. And then he ended up with an extra 20 yards in the grounds.
And I think a touchdown?
Yep. 20 yards and a touchdown on the grounds.
And
he was balling out.
Funny thing enough, him, Nuke, they aren't even the story in this game. You know what the story in this game is. Chandler Jones decided that neither tackle on Tennessee existed.
Chandler Jones, who wanted to trade in the offseason because he wasn't getting a contract extension, came out, started this game red hot by recording 3 sacks in the first quarter alone, ending the game with 5 sacks, 4 tackles for a loss, 2 forced fumbles, and a partridge in a pear tree. He was simply unstoppable.
Yeah, it's nasty. Moving on to the next one, we condensed.
Moving on. Let's stop at Tennessee for a moment.
Oh, you want to bask in something you might have gotten right at least week 1?
Hey, I take my victories where I can get them, okay?
The fact that Derrick Henry was near non-existent?
But it's deeper than just Derrick Henry, right? Like, Derrick Henry I have concerns of just because of usage over the past couple of years. But For me, Tennessee is Arthur Smith leaving town to become a head coach. Now, his head coaching debut is not as impressive as you want it to be, but
No.
Todd Downing's offensive coordinator debut here for Tennessee was also not impressive, right? They had high expectations. They fell very short of it. It's almost like the Tennessee Titans offense lost their identity when Arthur Smith had left town.
Maybe.
Based on PFF stats, it was showing that Tennessee used play action 11.6% of their week 1 offensive snaps, as opposed to last year's like 36%. That's a huge difference.
So they need to settle in. All right. So this next one, we're not going to hang on too long. Seahawks beat the Colts 28-16. This is Russell doing Russell things. That's all I got for you. It's Russell Wilson doing Russell Wilson things. And that's what this game was all about. Carson Wentz made a valiant effort, didn't fall apart, because, he's missed the glass. But this was all about Russell Wilson and what he can do, like that backyard style football that he does that don't make no damn sense.
Yep, Pete Carroll just let Russ cook, and Russ cooked.
All right, so the next game we already talked about Fitzpatrick. The big story here, Sean Slater's a stud, man. Or either that, or he just has Chase Young's number.
He looked really impressive out there against Chase Young.
He had him in college. That was one of his claim to fame, and he had him in this game.
He did. I'm curious what week 2 looks like when he's not facing Chase Young.
We'll see. He's going to get DeMarcus Lawrence, I believe. So, next one. Jets versus Panthers. I'm going to let you take this revenge game. And it was a revenge.
You mean the Sam Darnold Bowl?
Yep.
Sam Darnold begins his Carolina Panther career with a W against the team that traded him, the New York Jets. So
he looked pretty good too.
He did. He looked. I mean, what was his line? His line was like 24 of 35. He had 270, 280 in the air. No turnovers, right? That's always a great thing. You're thinking Sam Darnold. I'm trying to think how many times he got sacked.
He utilized Christian McCaffrey. Let's be honest.
Well, when you have Christian McCaffrey on your team, he's like options 1, 2, and 3 for you.
Now, to be fair, Zach Wilson had a lot. His receivers were dropping the ball, especially Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore had a game to forget. Anything else for this game, Sean? Before we move on to this,
I was really curious. I was really curious how Zach Wilson would look this week because we saw him in the preseason. We saw him out there for a couple of series. We saw what appeared to be mostly scripted plays where he came out. He just did what was told, targeted Corey Davis on 3/4 of his passing plays. I was really curious what a full game from Sam Darnold would look like. And I think, yes, that guy, Zach Wilson. And I think it was about what I expected it to be.
He was better than ever. He was better than what you thought, though, than what the stat line says. He had some drops that made him look a little worse than what it is, and then he pressed.
Yeah, I mean, he ended up taking a beating. He was sacked like, 5, maybe 6 times in that game?
Yep.
So, all right. Well, there's your welcome to the NFL moment, right? This isn't preseason anymore. You're going against number 1 defenses for a full 4 quarters. Here you go. A lot of promise, though.
From one rookie who struggled to another. Trevor Lawrence. And, you know something? I went and rewatched the game. All right. First part of this, I have no clue what's going on with that defense. They made Tyrod Taylor look like an all-pro. They really did. Number 2, Trevor. Do you know how many drops they had? I stopped counting at like 7.
Yeah, I mean,
I swear they had like 12 drops in that game. It was grotesque. I know he had 3 interceptions, but I mean, he obviously started pressing once Like he realized these guys just won't catch for me. And I don't know if it's something with Urban Meyer, but the team did not look like they wanted to play.
Which is very interesting because toward the end of the offseason, there was reports coming out of Jacksonville that the players didn't like Urban Meyer's style. They didn't like his practice style. They didn't like his coaching style because it almost seemed like he was carrying that college mentality still. And now you progress to the pros. This is a whole new level. You got to change your approach to things. What you did in college isn't going to work in the pros, and it's almost like we're starting to see that.
All right, next up, Browns versus Chiefs. Browns pissed this game away. They had it, and you know something, they couldn't hold on to it. Chiefs are too good.
Chiefs are who we thought they are.
Yep.
Thought they were.
And
need to come back. Patrick Mahomes got you. Is Patrick Mahomes going to lose in September? Not yet. Not yet.
All right. Now for the next one, Dolphins and Patriots, the Bama Bowl. And this one, two pretty darn good defenses playing young quarterbacks. They made the young quarterbacks at that time look young. But, I mean, it was all about those running backs who are going to be in the doghouse for Bill Belichick. I don't know what he's going to do because both of them did it. Put the ball on the ground. So
yeah, too many fumbles for Bill Belichick. They're thinking, Ramondre Stevenson, I think, fumbled first. He was put in the doghouse. Damian Harris fumbled. His was a larger fumble because it was, in the fourth quarter? It was in the last 4 minutes of the game when New England was trying to make a comeback. I think that one's going to sting a little bit more. Now, does that get Ramondre out of the doghouse? To be determined, but I wouldn't be surprised to see J.J. Taylor a little bit more. Yeah. So expect to see a third running back, J.J. Taylor, a little bit more frequently.
This is Bill Belichick that we're talking about.
Yeah, but how did Mac Jones look out there? He looked pretty good.
I think both him and Tua, both of them look pretty good out there.
Yep, they were effective.
Jalen Waddle looked really good too. Like, I mean, these Bama receivers, man. All right, Sean, I'm gonna sit back. Next game, you take it. I ain't even gonna introduce it. You know which game it is.
All right. So we're gonna talk about the Chicago-Los Angeles Rams game.
No. Come on. You know which game I'm making you talk about. This is all you.
Yeah. Alrighty. So the game we're talking about here is the Green Bay Packers taking a 38-3 loss against Jameis Winston and the New Orleans Saints. So first, because I've been doing it for the past couple of months, Jameis gets the W, right? Gets that. But man, Green Bay just took a 35-point ass whooping. I'm not sure if I can make it any more clear than that. Green Bay's offense was disappointing. They were slow out of the gate. Maybe there could have been a better outcome to this game had their quarterback been present for more of this offseason.
Is he out of shape?
That's a good question. Very small sample size. He didn't look like the Aaron of old.
I mean, I know you're skinny and all, but you look in better shape than Aaron Rodgers was looking, in my opinion.
Why, thank you. Brian Gutekunst, if you need a quarterback, give me a call. You can find me on Instagram at TheCatDaddy, or Twitter, whichever one of those. You can come find me. I have a lot of experience playing Madden and NCAA football, so I can call audibles too.
I can attest he can take a hit.
Yeah. Yeah. But the offense was very disappointing. A lot of that is Aaron Rodgers, but you're also thinking that Saints defensive front was just killing the Green Bay offensive line. So it wasn't as if it was all Rodgers. The offensive line didn't help.
Like, what was with that shot put?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I'm like, when I saw it happen, I was, what is he doing?
It didn't look like the Aaron Rodgers of old. I'm hoping this is just rust that gets shaken off. That's going to come back like normal next week. But the offensive woes continued with the run. Yeah, they better come back. With the run game, due to the score, they were more of passing situations, so they abandoned the run. They never returned to it. I would have liked to see a little bit more running. That's just the offense. The defense was disappointing. I believe we were promised a more aggressive defensive approach with Joe Barry as our defensive coordinator, but I didn't see it. Right? I didn't see any difference between this defense and Mike Pettine's defense the last couple of years. And I'm still not sure why Kevin King is on the field. I'm not sure why he's starting ahead of Eric Stokes. I really hope that changes this week against Detroit. It absolutely should, because Kevin King was out there doing Kevin King things. He gave up at least one big touchdown. I'd have to go back and double check. It might have been
at least
second
a big
one.
Play. Another big play.
Yeah.
I think the other play from the same guy, that big long play that he had on the sideline, I think that was Kevin King also.
Yep. Special teams ended up being the lone bright spot for the Packers this week. But the good news is it's just week one, right?
And nobody in your division won.
We're not ready to overreact. We're still tied for first for the division lead. So let's RELAX. And I believe the last time that Aaron Rodgers threw multiple interceptions during the season opener, Green Bay ended up winning the Super Bowl. So we got that working on our side.
Happening this year.
Now, that's just Green Bay. Green Bay was disappointing. It was embarrassing. It's a game to forget. We're going to move on to week 2, right? We're pulling a Bill Belichick. We're on to Detroit. But let's talk about New Orleans for a second.
Let's talk about Jameis.
Man, New Orleans looked good. Jameis Winston, that LASIK is working for him. Sean Payton
is Johnson, who jumps like 8 feet in the air.
You better calm down in that name. And Jawan Johnson better calm down too, because there's no way I'm going to try and sneak him in fantasy football if he keeps putting up stats like this. So Jawan, you better cool it for another couple of weeks until I can pick you up. Okay? We're going to stop talking about him.
Name. I can't, because you know what he's listed as in our league, right?
He's a wide receiver tight end. Yep.
So no way he makes it out.
Right, we're probably going to talk about this more during our fantasy portion, but I was going to pick him up this week, but I had to fill in a cornerback spot because one of my cornerbacks ended up being out for a game, so I had to pick some guy up. So I wasn't able to pick up Jawan Johnson. But Jawan, it wasn't. It should have been, but Jawan Johnson was like the next person I was going to be picking up.
All right, onward. So we're going to go quick hit on the next 2 because I want to get to the last one. So the Broncos defeat the Giants, obviously, 27-13. And the Broncos basically dominated this game. The Giants weren't really in this game.
No, Broncos looked good. Teddy Bridgewater looked good. Von Miller is back. Saquon Barkley is back-ish, slowly. They're easing him into
fully back. I don't think so.
You know what? He is back, though.
If Jeudy wouldn't have went out in this game, it would have been worse.
It would have been. But who else is back? Is Daniel Jones and his turnovers.
Yeah, well, that never left. All right, Bears-Rams. So I told Bear fans, here's the thing about Andy Dalton. He's not terrible, but he's also not good. So Andy Dalton did Andy Dalton things, which were mediocre. Well, Matthew Stafford on the other side was just slinging it. And the Bears seemingly forgot the rule when Van Jefferson got where you got to tap somebody down. I mean, not to mention, how in the world did Cooper Kupp get behind the whole defense? I mean, that don't make no sense. So I'm wondering about this Bears defense, or is this Rams offense just that awesome?
I mean, that Rams offense with Matt Stafford back there looked legit.
They did look
right.
Legit.
All they need to do is a little bit of improvement with the running game, and if they can get a solid running game in, this team is going to be damn near unstoppable offensively.
All right, now let's get to the game, because this nonsense, I don't know if you saw it. I'm not even going to talk about the whole game. Did you see the end of the Ravens-Raiders game? Did you see this nonsense?
Yes.
This ridiculousness. I've never seen this. This is crazy. This is Gruden-esque.
It was a wild and sloppy finish. That's what it was.
Like you went from, first of all, Bryan Edwards didn't exist for the majority of this game until the final Raiders drive. So let's back up. All right. So the Raiders go down. They score. They make the score 24-24. Lamar gets it with a little over 3 minutes on the clock. So the Raiders, they're containing him. They're doing good stuff. And then Lamar does Lamar things, and Lamar just makes him pay with his legs. Just ridiculous nonsense of moves. It's just straight Madden juke sticks and whatever. So then they get down there, kick the field goal with 37 seconds left. The Raiders get the ball. All of a sudden, Bryan Edwards exists. He gets the next, 2 passes. Get them into field goal range. They trot the field goal kicker out there. They get the field goal. And then all of a sudden we're going to overtime. Raiders get the ball. Couple of plays. All of a sudden Bryan Edwards exists again. Get him on a back shoulder fade. The defender falls down. He dives. Looks like he gets in the end zone. They call touchdown. Pandemonium ensues. The Ravens are on the field saying their goodbyes. The Raiders are celebrating. All the fans and bottle service going nuts. Yes, the Vegas Stadium has bottle service. What? But then the refs look it over. He was down at the 1. Okay, so we got to get on the field. This is going to be, a formality, right? They're just going to run the ball, get into the end zone, right? They got Josh Jacobs. No. They try QB sneak. It doesn't work. Then, now they're going to run Josh Jacobs. No, Alex Leatherwood, false start. Back him up 5. So, okay, they can still throw it in, right? Well, let me just preface this. Willie Snead used to play for the Ravens last year. He's on the Raiders now. I'm just wondering, is he still a sleeper agent for the Ravens? Because Derek Carr put the ball on the money. Yeah, it was a little hot, but he put it on the money, went through his hands, bounced off a defender's helmet.
Well, it didn't go through his hands. It bounced off his hands. It didn't go through. It bounced off.
Bounced off his hands. Bounced off a defender's helmet into another defender's hands. What? And then you think, okay, Lamar's just going to drive him down. Well, you know something? The guy with the unlimited motor, Max Crosby, still a wrecking crew there. He wasn't the one who got the hit, though. I forgot who got the hit. I think it was Carl Nassib.
Yeah, it was Nassib who forced the fumble.
Made Lamar fumble for the second time in the game. Next thing you know, the Raiders, they run the ball. Then they trot their field goal team out. All of a sudden, delay of game. The field goal team's already, we're going to stay out. No, Gruden's like, no, I want the offense out there. What? What is going on?
It was second down when they did that, though. It was second down. So
I get it, but still. Then Derek Carr runs back. It calls 500 as he throws off his back foot, falling backwards. And all of a sudden, there's a wide open receiver. The Raiders win the game.
Wide open because Marlon Humphrey got picked by his own teammates.
Yes,
Zay Jones runs past him off his back foot. Derek Carr just heaves it, yells 500. Zay Jones like, I got you. Touchdown. Walk off. It's
Nonsense.
over. Wild and sloppy. That's what that game was.
That. If I was a Raiders fan, I would have had a heart attack. I'm just letting you know. I've been through this. That was exhausting.
Yep. So John Gruden won. I think this means the Raiders are going to the Super Bowl.
All right. So real quick, one more segment. We went a little long. We're just going to give you currently our bottom 3 teams and our top 3 teams. So I'll give you mine first. My bottom 3 teams right now, and this is just right now. This is going to change, people, so don't kill me, Sean. All right. My bottom team, number 32, is the Atlanta Falcons. Their performance was abysmal. And then my number 31 is the Jacksonville Jaguars. But sitting at 30 is them Green Bay Packers. They need to do better.
Oh, Oh yeah, don't worry. Don't worry. My bottom 3 team, like my number 32 team, after this first week of games, is the Green Bay Packers.
Ooh.
They looked horrible. It is embarrassing. Simple as that. Embarrassing. Sitting at 31, I have the Atlanta Falcons. I think you termed it correctly. Abysmal. But still better than Green Bay, right? Still better than what the Packers put up. And my number 30 team, the Tennessee Titans. Man, with all the expectations they had coming into this season, they got a lot to fix. They got a lot to fix.
All right. 1 through 3. This is the hard one.
Top teams, yes.
So my number 1 team, I'm gonna go from 1 to 3 because I can't go the other way. It's easier this way. My number 1 team right now is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going there. Number 2, no surprise, it's the Kansas City Chiefs. But number 3, it was hard. It was between 2 teams for me. 2 teams. I'm going the Los Angeles Rams. The other team I was considering was the New Orleans Saints.
Ooh, all right. So we have something in common here. My number 1 team is Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They returned all 22 starters. They returned pretty much their entire coaching staff, and it showed. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. But, right?
Give them refs some gifts.
But yeah. Oh, man. Tom Brady's just out there surgical. It's amazing what he can do at his age.
He looks damn good.
Yeah. So Tampa Bay won. Number 2, I had the Dallas Cowboys, right? I didn't think Dallas was going to perform as well, especially that guy at quarterback, Dakota Rain. I didn't think he was going to come out as strong as he did, but he's out there slinging the ball like 50-some times. Like, what shoulder injury?
I told people this on the pod every time I said this. But anyways, number 3,
Yep.
we got to get out of here.
Number 3,
coming up.
Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are who we thought they were.
It's going to be a fun year.
It is.
Dallas plays the Chiefs later this year, so hey. Anyways, words of wisdom, Sean.
Step back from the ledge. It's just week 1, right? Don't overreact. Don't change your favorite team because they lost week 1. It's a long season. There's still 16 games left because now we have a 17-game season. Still a lot of time. Take a breath. Relax. Come back for next week.
All right, if you're a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, take up a new hobby for a little bit. I'm just gonna let you know it's not gonna be pretty.